Hey, fifth grade, it's Mrs. Curran. So today we are going to be working on not estimating division, but actually dividing. The numbers we're going to be using as our divisors are going to be multiples of 10 today. So we'll be dividing with numbers such as 30 or 40 or 50, 60, 70, 80, so on and so forth. So we're going to start out with a problem. We're going to do 80 divided by 30. So as we remember, this number is our divisor, goes outside the box. This is our dividend, goes in the box. This is what we're breaking up. This is the pieces that we're breaking it up into. So we're going to go ahead and set it up with the division box, 80 inside, dividend, divisor of 30 on the outside. So like we've been doing, I'm looking at this 30, and I realize that 30 is just an extension of my 3 facts. So I'm going to come over to the side, and I'm going to list out multiples of 30. So we're going to start with 30, 60, 90. That should be good because I can tell already that estimate is greater than my dividend. So now we're going to start to divide. So it's going to be 30. Can it go into 8? Well, 30 times 1 is 30, and that's already too big. So no, it can't. It goes 0 times. Put your little multiplication symbol there. 0 times 30 is 0. Going to subtract and bring down. And if you notice, we actually ended up with our original dividend of 80. So 30 into 80, I come over here. This looks like this is too big. This looks just right, which is times 2. So my 2 goes up. 2 times 30 is 60. I already know it's over there. Subtract. I have nothing more to bring down. I notice that my remainder or my leftover is 20, which is less than 30, because that's one of the requirements. The remainder cannot be more than your divisor. So it's 2 remainder 20. We're also going to check these today by using the inverse or opposite operation, which is multiplication. So you can see 30 times 2 we're going to do. And then our remainder, we add on. So that's how we solve it, that multiplication. We just work backwards. We subtract it to get our remainder. We will add our remainder back on. So I'm going to come over to the side below, and I'm going to do 30 times 2, which is 60. And then we add on that remainder, plus 20. And you will know your division was correct if this matches your dividend. So our final quotient is 2 remainder 20. You don't need that front 0. All right, let's try another one. We're going to do, let's do 71 divided by 50. Once again, that front number is my dividend, goes in the box. 50 is my divisor. This is the pieces we're breaking into. This is the pieces we're breaking apart. So 71 in the box, dividend, divisor on the outside. So 50 is going to be our divisor. Notice it's like your 5 facts. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to list some 5 facts. So I got 50. I got 100. But look at it, I'm not going to go any further because this 100 is already bigger than this 71. So now I'm ready to start dividing. So I'm going to do 50 into 7. It can't go at all because 50 times 1 is 50, and that's way too big. So that's a 0. So 0 times 50 is 0. Subtract, bring down. If you notice, we ended up with our exact dividend. So 50 into 71, it can't go 2 times, so it looks like it's going to go 1 time. Notice that 1 goes right above where I took down the 1. So 1 times 50 is 50. We're going to subtract, get 21. No more numbers to bring down. Let's double check that remainder. 21 is less than 50, so we're good to go. Now we're going to check it. Once again, 50 times 1, and then we're going to add on our remainder. We subtracted to get it, we add it on. So I'm going to do 50 times 1, pretty easy, 50. add on your 21, and you get 71. And notice it matches your dividend, so therefore my final quotient is 1, remainder 21. Let's try another one. Let's do 643 divided by 80. So 643 is my dividend, goes inside the box. 80 is my divisor, outside the box. And so 80, I'm going to use my 8 facts to list those out. I know that's facts that we struggle with. So use your division chart or your multiplication chart to help you. But we got 80, 160, 240, 320, 400. I'm going to keep going because I noticed that this number is pretty large. I also just took a quick peek and I'm like 80 can't go into 6, 80 can't go into 64. So I'm going to be using the entire dividend. So I'm going to keep going for 80. And those of you who know your facts are probably seeing that we're getting pretty close. So I got 560. That's my 8 times 7. 8 times 8, look at that. 640, we get pretty close. So now we're ready to start our division. So 80 into 6, that would be 0 times. 0 times 8, 80 is 0. Subtract, bring down. 80 into 64. This is where a lot of people, they're like, oh, my 8 facts, it does go into 64. But that's 8, not 80. So I have to look, my very first one times 1 is 80, which is too big. So this would be another 0. 0 times 8 is 0. And then like I was thinking, I'm going to have to take my divisor into my entire dividend. So if you look at your list, boom, this one would make sense because if you notice, the next one would be 720, which is too large. And you can't get it too large. So it goes in there. This would be times 8. The 8 goes up. 8 times 80 is 640. I subtract. No other numbers to bring down. Everything's nice and lined up. Let's check that remainder. 3 is definitely less than 80. So we get 8 remainder 3 as our quotient. We're going to check it. So I'm going to come over here. I got some room. I'm going to do my 80 times 8. And then add on my 3. So 80 times 8, 0, 64, 640, which is what I got before, so that kind of helps. Then I'm going to add on my 3. And lo and behold, it matches my dividend. So final answer, we don't need those beginning zeros, is 8, remainder 3 for our quotient. Let's do one more. We're going to do, let's do 215 divided by 90. 215 is our dividend, goes in the box. And notice when I write this, I give myself lots of room up here. You don't want to squish it in because that's where your numbers get kind of funky, especially when we do much more complicated problems towards the end of the week. All right, so since my divisor's 90, I'm going to need to know my 9 facts. Let's come over to the side, list them out. 90, 180, because that would be 918. 270, so it's 27. So if you notice, I'm already above. So I'm going to stop there with listing mine out because none of those other numbers would work. So we're going to start. 90, can it go into 2? Nope, that'd be 0 times. 0 times 90 is 0. Subtract. I'm going to bring down. 90 into 21. Well, still doesn't work. So that's another 0. Notice the numbers are lined up exactly where I bring them down. They're lined up at the top. 0 times 90 is 0. Subtract. Bring down. So now I'm going into my entire dividend. So if you come over to your list of multiples, I'm noticing 270 is too big. So I'm thinking this one right here, which is times 2. Your 2 goes up. 2 times 90 is 180. So here's where you have to make sure you're subtracting correctly. 5 minus 0 is 5. 1 minus 8 is not something we can do, so we have to rename. So we're going to add that 10 onto this. This now becomes an 11. 11 minus 8 is 3. 1 minus 1 is 0. I don't need that 0. So nothing more to bring down. Let's take a look at that remainder. 35 is smaller than 90, so therefore 35 works as a remainder. So now we're going to check our answer using the inverse operation. I'm going to do 90 times 2 and add on that 35. So let's come over to the side. 90 times 2. I got 180. Let's add on that 35. And you know you're successful when this matches your dividend. So today the work you're going to be doing is you will be dividing, but it does ask you to check it as well. So when you get to, this is the problem set, when you get to the homework page, they do have you dividing and checking. Instead of squishing it on the paper, feel free to do it on graph paper and then just bring your graph paper up to check it. But the expectation is that you are checking it with multiplication as well. All right, well, have a good day. Bye.